Hello, everyone. How you doing? This is Ambassador Devisha L. Johnson. I have not been live for years. I'm in Africa, if you guys didn't know. I've been living here since 2021, and I hope you can all hear me, but it was really important for me to come on here and talk to you all about what's going on in America and what's going on in Africa, what I'm doing in particular, and how that relates to the current administration in the U.S. and what's going on with food. And I see a lot of videos, people talking about homesteading and asking questions about agriculture and how to grow food and things like that. So I decided to come on and do this live. I don't know how long it's going to last or who will come on because I haven't been on Facebook for a very long time. But I felt it was important to have this conversation with my Black people, as I did during COVID, which is one of the reasons that got me here to Africa. So all of you that are new to me, my name is Ambassador Johnson. I'm the Goodwill Ambassador for the state of Georgia. I used to be in politics. Well, I am in politics. I have been in agriculture since the early 2000s, late 1990s. I came to Africa for cannabis policy, which is what I was working on in the U.S. And then I started the Cooperative Executive Management Team, which you see behind me. I wrote a book called Patio to Plate, How to Create a Veggie Oasis in 30 Days, which the link should be attached to this video. So please go purchase my book on Amazon. I'm writing my second book, which will talk about community gardens. But today, I want to talk to you about the One Hectare Sustainable Farm. So maybe about a year and a half ago, I realized that there's going to be a food shortage across the world. There's supposed to be another pandemic in 2030. And with all the land here in Africa and what I've seen over the years in the agriculture space about how people grow food and exactly, what's happening in America with the deportation of a lot of agricultural workers, there's going to be an issue if we as a community do not act. So I have a farm management services company called the Cooperative Executive Management Team. And over these 5 years or so that I've been in Africa, I realized that there's a huge education gap with us as Black people and how we think about agriculture. We are still caught into the I don't want to be a slave, and the current president of the U.S. has made it seem as though, we're going to be back in the cotton fields, basically. Let's just keep it G. So I decided that I will come on here today and talk to you about what I believe is the key to Black economic liberation, which starts with the One Hectare Sustainable Farm. So 1 hectare, because we don't use that system of measurement in America, is 2.5 acres. So within those 2.5 acres, I've taken my years of agriculture or architecture, education, and construction management education over the 15 years that I was in both fields, and decided to start designing farms. So I've seen some videos of homesteading. It's basically the same thing. but more. So the One Hectare Sustainable Farm is not just about feeding yourself. It's really about feeding your community. There are 32 different components to each farm. All of the templates are pretty much the same across the spectrum. The farms could be anywhere around the world, but the basis is to create a vertically integrated ecosystem all on 2.5 acres. So that includes housing, it includes the farm itself, which on each farm we grow at least 25 different crops. We also have livestock. We also have fruit trees, fruit orchards on the farm as well. There's also an education component, so there's a school or an institute of some kind on each farm. There is a lab on each farm so that you can do your own soil testing, your own water sampling. There's a cryogenics storage facility on each farm so that you can keep your seeds. There's also, what else do we have on the farm? There's also courses that can be taught in the training center that's on the farm. There's a research facility on the farm. There's a conference center or visitor center on the farm where you can use that as a revenue model for renting out space for events or conferences, which is what we do here at this particular space. And weather permitting, I will take you on a little tour of what we have going on here at this farm. If you have not seen what I've been doing, we are on YouTube. There's a video every day as we were designing this farm on YouTube, so you can watch 30 days full of videos. So I will put that link when this is posted to Facebook, to the YouTube channel, where you can go and watch that. But the rest of the components of the farm all fall into each other and work in a cyclical ecosystem so that you basically live, work, play, educate, and find your peace on our farms. Now, currently, we have 124 farms around the world. We cover, I think as of this morning, 13 different African countries. We have 87 farms here, 87 farms here in Ghana that have registered on our website. We recently went and set up a farm in Nigeria, so there is video on our YouTube channel also from the farm that we set up in Nigeria. We were there for 30 days setting up that farm for a private individual, just to test out if does this pilot work everywhere in any circumstance. Now, each of the farms has the same components, but there are 12 different farm models. So depending on where you're building the farm also means that they're going to have some aspects focused on that particular model. So for example, we have elementary school farms. So if you're putting one of these farms at an elementary school, obviously these are children, so they learn at a different capacity than a university farm. The middle school farm, so the children's farm focuses on, the beginning parts of learning about agriculture. So how to identify plants, what is photosynthesis, what does soil look like, getting them outside to be able to touch and feel things, worms, composting, things like that. The middle school farm is focused on hydroponics and aquaponics, which is very important, particularly in Africa because people do a lot of fish farming here. So understanding that the fish farming can also help produce your vegetables, especially if you have a condensed space, is also important. So the middle school farm focuses on hydroponics and aquaponics. The high school farm focuses on entrepreneurship because a lot of children in high school are having summer jobs, or from what I've seen, recently Governor DeSantis in Florida has decided that, the 14-year-olds need to go work on the farm because they ain't got no farm workers because they kicked everybody out and ICE came and deported everybody. So from what I've heard as of yesterday, the governor has decided to pass a bill that would allow 14-year-olds to work the graveyard shift, which, I have my own opinions of, which I will keep to myself because I don't live in America anymore. So The high school farm focuses on entrepreneurship. So we teach people or students about how to make money from your farm. So most people in Africa, send their kids to the farm as punishments. But we at the Cooperative Executive Management Team have found a way to make it fun because we focus for the high school kids on how do you make money from the things that you grow from your farm instead of just eating the produce or slaughtering the animals to have a barbecue. What else can you do on your farm to make money? So my 13-year-old daughter, even though she's in what we call JHS here, or junior high school, she has been the example of the pilot of the high school model, even though she's in middle school. So she has a business called Fruit Freezies. Go check her out on Instagram. It's Fruit Freezies GH on Instagram, where she takes our farm products and makes 100% all natural, 100% organic, homemade fruit popsicles. She has a 200% profit margin. She sells out at almost every event that she's been to. She was featured in a magazine article or a newspaper article in Nigeria recently for being the youngest Black American diaspora in Ghana business owner or agribusiness owner. So she started this, what month are we in? October, July. She started making fruit freezies, and it's really become really important to her. She goes and collects her own fruits. I taught her about making a balance sheet, doing her inventory, making sure she has her profit and loss statements. She has a whole Excel breakdown of, how much inventory, what type of fruit she needs to go buy, how much the fruit is. I taught her all of those things. So now she's basically running her own international business as a 13-year-old living here in Africa. So that's really important for the rebranding of how we're going to get these children back into farming, is focus on what they care about, especially in that age demographic, which is money and making money. They don't want to do things that isn't going to make them money. And a lot of them, let's just be honest, are not that interested in agriculture. They're not that interested in anything except for having fun and spending their parents' money. So I've kind of flipped it on its head and said, okay, well, how can we make them more self-sufficient by using this farm model, which is what the high school farms focus on. So then we have a university farm, which we incorporated a fellowship program. Biggie is our poodle mix that lives on the farm with us, and he supervises everything. So if you've ever seen any of my videos, you've seen Biggie in the videos. Now you've heard Biggie in this video because he just knows when the camera is on. But back to what I was saying. So the university model, we incorporated a fellowship program into it. So we invite particularly HBCUs because we focus on Black farmers. Biggie, hush, Yanko, bra bra, Biggie, Jai, sit, Biggie, Jai, Jai. Biggie trying to say, I'm doing life. You have to be in everything. Okay, sorry. Calm down, okay? Don't even think about it. Okay, so the Biggie, Jai. So Jai means stop in Tree, which is the Akan language of Ghana. I'm not a full Tree speaker, but I'm getting there. So the fellowship program is a 3-month program where we bring HBCU students to Ghana. They live on the farm here with me. They go through what is with these people? They go through a 3-month program through the entire value chain of the agriculture process from seed to sale. So they start out on the farm and go over, the different components of each of the farms. Then they go to the Center for Plant Medicine Research here in Ghana, which I have a partnership with, to learn about how to change herbs into medicine. There are 5 different departments in this particular governmental agency. It is out of the Ministry of Health, has an agency called the Center for Plant Medicine Research. So you can be in the bush somewhere in Africa and find some plant, or people have been using certain types of plants here for ages for medicinal purposes, and now they want to take it into get FDA approval and get it on the market to sell to the public. So you would take your herb to the Center for Plant Medicine Research. They have 5 different departments that they take this plant, or they take the plant through, or you've already made a product and you want to get FDA approval. So they take it through the process to see, is it safe for animals? Is it safe for humans? Depending on what you're using it for. Is it a skincare product? They do not do food products. They do everything but food. So if you have a skincare product, or you have some type of medicinal herb or something like that, they will create medicines out of those. And so our fellowship students spend 2 weeks at that particular agency going through the 5 different departments to learn how to change herbs into medicine. And then we have a research model, which is for research institutes. So we got a partnership when we went to Nigeria with the Cocoa Research Institute Nigeria. There are many different research institutes across Africa. However, the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria entered into an MOU with us a couple of months ago for us to build a research farm. The research farms are typically 1 acre, not 2.5 acres. Because research institutes usually have facilities on site, there's no reason for us to build structures because they're already there. So the research model does not have all 32 components because most of those, well, not most of, a few of, not several of those components are already on site, like maybe a laboratory and, housing facilities and a research center because it's a research institute. So those are usually 1 acre. So the Cocoa Research Institute in Nigeria already allotted us 1 acre on their facility to start this research farm. So I'll be going back to Nigeria again for my 4th time this year because it's right next door. It's probably, like driving from Atlanta to Houston is the amount of time it takes to get from Ghana to Nigeria, to Lagos. So we'll be visiting the Cocoa Research Institute again to start that farm as well. And so that's our research farm. And then we have a national farm. So we are going to Liberia in less than 2 weeks to nationalize the One Hectare Sustainable Farm model that has all of the components, which we utilize as a demonstration farm. So if you are in Liberia or you are Liberian in the diaspora and you have land back home, we will be in, let me see if I can run these down. We will be in Maryland County, Grangita County, Nimba County, Bong County, Lofa County, Margibi County, and Monserrato County, which is where Monrovia, the capital, is of Liberia. So we'll be in those 7 counties over a 7-day period, meeting with farmers. The Speaker of the House of Representatives has been so gracious enough to facilitate and help us organize and give us the authority to do this trip across the country and then meet with the president on November 12th as we will be leaving the country to come back to Ghana in hopes to not only sign up farmers in Liberia, but nationalize these programs. So that is the national model of the One Hectare Sustainable Farm. Then we have a village model, which is the model that we set up in Nigeria. We were about, I think I did video of it. We were a 15-minute motorbike ride into the bush in Nigeria where we set up this village farm. There was no internet. There was no electricity. There was mud homes everywhere, no modern buildings, dirt road. If it rains, there was a flood, you can't leave. It was in the bush. It's the village. So we spent 30 days in the village setting up that farm. It came out beautifully. The infrastructure setup only takes 30 days for each farm, and it's a 6-month total process to roll out each of these farms with all these 32 components, depending on if the funding is available. And we will talk about funding. So that's the village farm. Then we have a individual, private-owned farm. So if you are a specialty farm, so if you are interested in you just have a livestock farm, then we focus on livestock. It still has the 32 components, but there's a deeper focus into the livestock sector. So maybe a bigger portion of your farm will house livestock more than the vegetables, but the vegetables and the composting also helps feed your animals. So like I said, it's an ecosystem that's created that runs on itself. It's a vertically integrated ecosystem, so everything stacks on itself so that you don't really have, once it gets started, you don't really have to go outside of the components of the farm for you to get the full benefits of the ecosystem. And so then next, after the private farm, we have the Sahel. So the Sahel region, for those of you that don't know, in Africa is right above Ghana. So it includes Burkina Faso, which I know everyone has heard a lot about. President Ibrahim Traore has revolutionized his predecessor, Thomas Sankara, for basically retaking back his country. And the opportunity for development has blown people out of the water with what he's been able to do by kicking out the French and the colonizers that have taken over that country have not only been kicked out, but they have reclaimed their gold mines. They have reclaimed most of their minerals. They are building at a massive scale and inviting people to come back to Burkina Faso. They have since left the ECOWAS. The ECOWAS is the Economic Community of West African States, is what ECOWAS stands for. And it is this region of Africa that I am in. It did include 16 different countries, but Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have since left or removed themselves from the ECOWAS region and created the AES, which is the Sahel region. So now the diaspora is no longer the 6th region of Africa, it's now the 7th, which I find divinely inspirational with the number 7. I don't know if you guys thought about that, but I think about it. Almost everything I do is in sevens. So the Sahel region is a different model because they have basically took over their government through a coup. So the transition into new governments in that manner is very sensitive. So we think about a lot of different things in that aspect in developing one of those farms. So those farm models can be done anywhere around the world. And currently we have farms in 13 African countries, 1 farm in the Caribbean, a couple farms in the U.S. So all of you farmers in the United States or people that own land, your auntie and uncle and them, your grandma had land, call me. You can send me a message on WhatsApp at +233 0245 748797 in order to help you understand in this day and age with the current state of America how you can change your plat or your 1 acre into a self-sustaining ecosystem utilizing the 1 hectare sustainable farm model. I don't have to be in America to teach you how to do that. But I am going to be coming back to America at some point to do some of these farms as pilots in some of these communities. We do have a lot of interest from the UK as well as South America. We are trying to enter that market. We have some people in Brazil and Colombia as well. So the 1 hectare sustainable farm model is part of what I like to call Project 2040. When I heard about Project 2025 when President Trump was running for office, I did not read it because I didn't have to, because I've been in politics so long. I already knew what was going on, which is why I moved to Africa in the first place. In 2020, when he lost his election, I already knew what was going on. So that's why I came here. I came here early enough to be able to understand the culture and the environment of Ghana so that I could be better prepared to receive people that were looking to leave America or at least do business in America. I've been in business for myself 25 years. I've been able to sustain myself and my 4 children. So teaching people how to do that was really important. But then when I got here, when I got here, I realized that there's so many gaps that need to be filled. And somebody warned me that it could be overwhelming, and it was. But it took me a while to figure out that agriculture was where I needed to be full time. So I started doing that over a year ago. And that's how we came up with the 1 hectare sustainable farm model. It's from my years of being here and realizing, what needed to be done. And then thinking about COVID and how we didn't have access to food, which is how I even got into agriculture at this scale, was that I didn't want me and my children to starve. So it's the same, situation right now. If we as a community do not understand what supply chains are and how to get into the international market, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach us about how to do that. And I can only do that by leading by example, because us don't like to do things unless we see somebody else do it first. I'm not even going to say it's reasonable or understandable, because it's not. Because that's not how, industrial nations come about or innovation comes about. You have to take risks and you have to try things. And I took one for the team, basically, and came out here to Africa on my own about 7 times before I actually moved out here with my own money. I have never, ever gotten any type of financial assistance from any financial institutions, from any major sponsors, from any governmental agencies. This is Dabisha L. Johnson's money. And how I make my money and what I spend my money on has been fully funding my movements. I don't work for the government. I used to be chief of staff to a representative in Georgia. Shout out to Representative Sandra G. Scott of District 76, Henry and Clayton County. She's my political mama. I love her to death. I still work for her, even in this capacity over here in Africa, which is how I think I was awarded the Outstanding Georgia Citizen Award, which made me a Goodwill Ambassador back in 2023, which was also the last time I've been in America. I haven't been in America in almost 3 years now. So understanding all of the dynamics of Africa can't happen when you're going back and forth and back and forth. People don't take you seriously. So now that I've been here almost 5 years, people are now understanding that, okay, she's not going nowhere. So I'm getting into spaces now where people not only know me for being the hemp lady of Africa or being into agriculture, they know that I'm legit. Like, I'm not here on vacation. I have my children here. Both of the twins almost are fluent in Tree at this point. They're conversational, at least. They got their accents down. We moved to 3 or 4 different houses since we've been here to kind of get an understanding of where we like to be permanently. Currently, we are in Shai Osuduku, which is not far from the Shai Hills Nature Reserve in the greater Accra region, which is also probably 30 minutes from Akusombo, which is very famous for its bridge that goes over into the Volta region. And we're about an hour and a half away from Accra Central. And this is where we're doing the pilot of the full One Hectare Sustainable Farm in the specialty farm category. So the specialty farm category, I talked about livestock, but my specialty farm is cannabis. So I moved here for cannabis policy, for industrialized hemp to be more specific. It looks like the government they passed the law in 2023 rather, but they have not gone through the parliamentary process to approve the fee schedule, which is what is supposed to be happening this month. So they should be issuing hemp licenses legitimately, people, not my uncle is the MP and something. No, like legitimately to the public, hemp licenses that you can purchase. They obviously have a fee schedule and different licenses that you can go for. We are going for the research license and education license because I've been doing the Hemp Tech Conference in Ghana since 2020. So this is the 6th annual Hemp Tech Conference. Will happen in December at the farm, the One Hectare Sustainable Farm, in December 18th or December 19th and 20th, Friday and Saturday. We will be here doing the 6th annual Hemp Tech Conference because this will be the site of the first industrialized hemp research institute here in Ghana that's on the One Hectare Sustainable Farm as a specialty farm. So this particular farm will focus specifically on hemp and how to process that hemp into different value-added products to include into our global black supply chain. If you have not heard about the global black supply chain, you can go to www.tadc.world, which is TADC.world. That link is also here. And TADC is the African Diaspora Collective, which is an organization that I started while living here in Ghana that includes ambassadors all over the world. I'm the African Embassy Ambassador. We've been recognized by several countries, and we focus on Black economic liberation and the Black supply chain so that we can have connectivity globally. We have ambassadors in the Caribbean, diaspora, which is the United States, Canada, Africa, of course, because I'm here, the Middle East and Israel, Asia, Oceanic, so we have an office in Hong Kong. If you have not seen my post on my page, I am very deep into analytics, so we go check our website analytics, and China and Singapore are in our top 5 engagements as far as countries in the world over the last 2 or 3 months. I've never been to China or Singapore. Obviously, kudos to Ambassador Arnaud Deby, who's our Asia Oceanic Ambassador, who's a former private security for the former president of Cote d'Ivoire and their family. He has opening an office in Hong Kong for the Asia Oceanic Embassy of the African Diaspora Collective. So we have New Zealand, Australia, are our embassies around the world. So each of us has some kind of government connections or has worked in government previously. So we work with high-level government in each of our embassies in order to push forward our 3 focus areas. My 3 focus areas in my embassy are agriculture, women and girl empowerment, and youth employment with a focus on entrepreneurship. And all of those things are also encapsulated into the One Hectare Sustainable Farm. So back to the One Hectare Sustainable Farm itself. So depending on which model you choose, each of these farms is roughly $250,000 to build turnkey. We try to use everything on site before we spend any money. So in Nigeria, I think to set up his farm, we might have spent $1,000. I don't even think we spent $1,000. Maybe it was like $500. But we set up the infrastructure because he had a bamboo forest right, adjacent to his property. So we literally just went and cut bamboo and pretty much built the infrastructure of the farm out of bamboo. We had bamboo, string, and seeds. We ended up planting 40 different varieties of crops in grow bags and then directly in the ground. He also received some pilot seeds for a federal government project that they're piloting in Nigeria, which we also were able to grow or plant at his farm, monitor them. So the courses that we have on our website, which is also in this link or in this video, the link is there for the Cooperative Executive Management Team, teach you how to do organic farming. We have an international organic farming program, which is one of the revenue generation models of the vertically integrated ecosystem of the One Hectare Sustainable Farm. There are 7 different revenue generation streams that are built into each of the farms. So that includes the training courses, which I've just explained is an international organic farming course that we do online, but you can do that course in your training center at your farm. The training center and event space or conference space at your farm is another revenue generation model. Selling the produce direct from the farm to retailers, grocery stores as part of our supply chain is also a revenue generation model. Making value-added products. So we have a horticulture area on the farm. So when we're growing flowers, we make those flowers into teas. We partnered with some women's organizations that already make tea to add into our global supply chain here in Ghana that we've also tested out. We've had some people come to Ghana to visit me that I've also given products to. We also have a relationship with the Cocoa Research Institute in Ghana where we buy products from them. They have agreed to white label their products for us, which is also a revenue generation model because we can also give them our farm products to make into products, which brings in the Center for Plant Medicine Research. So now we're talking about making medicines as another value-added product. All of these are coming from what we grow at the farm. This is a 100% organic farm. Water, the sun, and some love. That's how we grow things here. We do our own fertilizers. We do our own composting. We do our own liquid pesticides. from the neem. We have neem that grows wild here in Ghana, which is a great pesticide. We teach people about eating healthy. So that's how Fruit Freezies was made as well, which I talked about earlier, which is also part of the revenue generation model from the value add perspective. And then the cryogenics lab and research. So research grants. If you have a research farm or you have a university farm, getting funding from research grants is also a revenue generation model. And then usually we have a farmer's market every first Saturday of the month that we call the Farmer's Family Feast, where different farmers from your local area come to your farm to sell their products. And then you also get to feature, obviously, what you've grown on the farm, whether it be raw vegetables or if you have livestock and you've slaughtered them and you want to sell those products. If you have aquaponics or you're a fish farmer, this particular farm model includes aquaponics. So we have a fish fry basically on the first Saturday of the month. Those are all revenue generation models that are all built into each farm. So the One Hectare Sustainable Farm is a lifestyle. It's not, like coming to Ghana back and forth for December. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment. The same way people come here and spend $250,000, $300,000 on a house that's beautiful in the mountains and have a gorgeous view, but you still have to feed yourself. You still have to figure out how to sustain yourself financially when you come here. And I thought about all of that when making these farms, is why I designed it the way that I did. Because a lot of people come here and they run out of money. And then they have to go back to America. Nobody wants to, eat crow after you've told everybody. Everybody has said, oh, what are you going over there for? There's nothing over there. Everybody's poor. How are you going to make money? There's no jobs, all those types of things. And then you sell your house, you sell your car. You get caught up in some of these international, I call them scams, frankly, where people do big talking and big promises and totally underdeliver. There's several people that have been doing that for years and years, which is very sad because they prey on the emotions of African Americans trying to connect to the motherland, and they're basically just scamming you. If you go back and look at the history of, check the receipts. Let me just be real with y'all. Check people's receipts. If they are selling you something that you can't find a person that has benefited or been successful in what they're selling, then don't buy from them. That goes anywhere from products to trips to, claims of citizenship in certain countries. I got 10 people's citizenship legitimately in Ghana last year because of my governmental relationships, because I've spent 10 years in politics. It wasn't because I paid somebody off. I've never given anyone a bribe. I don't plan to. I don't sleep with politicians in order to get my way to the top, which is normalized in Ghana, like talking about it, if we're going to be real about it, okay? If we're going to be real about it. So I have a very strict policy on how I operate here on the continent so that I do not feed into the stereotypes of a typical Black American or an African woman that, is abused or treated unfairly or does not have a voice. I try to make sure that I bust all those stereotypes and turn them on their head, which is why rebranding, as you can see up here, rebranding the Black farmer is my mantra. It's what I'm going into 2030 and 2040 focusing on. It's how do we get, which is why my focus is women and children, youth, and a focus in the agriculture industry, because everything starts with food. So this One Hectare Sustainable Farm model is not only the basis of Project 2040, but it's also under what we call the Fight for 15 campaign or the Fight for 15 Global Compact, which is the key to Black economic liberation. It's a mixture of, hundreds of years of agricultural knowledge mixed with, movements for Black economic liberation, from the Black Panther Party to the Civil Rights era to Malcolm X to Martin Luther King to all of these different heroes that we think about. And now in Africa, we talk about Nelson Mandela and Julius Malema and Thomas Sankara and Ibrahim Traore and all of these people that are really revolutionary in their thinking, because it's a mindset that you have to have in order to be successful and live on the continent. If you can't be flexible enough to be flexible, you're not going to make it here. The currency exchange rate changed from 13 to 10 in 3 days. 3 days. Wednesday, it was at 13. By Saturday, it was at 10.5. If you're spending $1,000, that's a large gap of money that you don't have for no reason, just because. So if you can't be flexible with your spending habits, you're not going to make it here. So most people leave after 2 years because they've run out of money. So I had to also think about that in designing these farms. So that's why I believe that this is the answer to Black economic liberation, because it's a vertically integrated ecosystem that's self-sustaining, that has 7 different revenue generation models for you to sustain yourself in the currency of the country that you are in. So that you do not have to depend on the US dollar. You are making Ghana cedis. You are making Nigerian naira. You are making sefa if you're in Togo or Benin. You are making Liberian dollars if you're in Liberia. Or USD, they also use in Liberia. So whatever currency is in your current country, whether it fluctuates with the dollar or not, these systems are built so that not only can you live off your farm, as those 5 things, it's live, work, play, educate, and peace. All 5 of those things are built into each of these farm models. Now, let's get to how can you be a part of this. So, the One Hectare Sustainable Farm registry, we just currently updated. We have 124 farms around the world. We are needing more farms in America. Let's talk Black people. You have land from your grandma. You have land. I used to be in real estate when I was in America. It's how I was side hustling when I was in college. This is before the crash and after. So I understand real estate, obviously, because I was in architecture school and construction management. So I wanted to build houses. So it all folds into each other. These 25 years of experience I have are in 4 different industries, all folded themselves into how I built this farm. So it wasn't just a fly-by-night idea that I just pulled out of the side of my neck. This was 20 years of experience in these different industries encapsulated into, okay, this is what we're getting ready to do, which is why I feel, again, that this is the answer to Black economic liberation. So how do you be a part? Go to our website at www.coopexecutives.com, which is in the link in the bio. If you're on YouTube, it'll be the link in the description. If you're here on Facebook, it's also the link in this live feed. There on the home page, there are 4 different sections or 5 different sections. Whatever part of the world you are in, you should fill out that form. So there's a link for Africa land registry. So if you're on the continent of Africa, or if you are in the diaspora and have land in any African country, you would click that link and register on that particular link. If you are in the Americas, which includes North America and South America, you would click that link. There's a Caribbean link for people that are in the Caribbean. And there's also a cannabis link. If you are in the US or the UK or the EU or several African countries or Asia, and you have legalized cannabis or hemp in your country and you want us to come do a specialized farm for cannabis and hemp, there is a cannabis land registry link as well on the homepage of our website at the Cooperative Executive Management Team. That's how you get into this program. There is a process. You go online, you register your land. Someone will call you, likely me. Someone will call you and give you a phone interview. It's 10 questions. It shouldn't take more than, a couple of minutes to verify the information that you put into the website, and then also find out your funding sources. Are you funding this yourself? Those of you that are in the diaspora that are coming back to Ghana, that are building homes, think about building a 1 hectare sustainable farm. There's people out there selling homestead plans that, you know, if you have 10 acres or 20 acres in America, they'll come and build you a homestead. You don't need that much. If you have 1 plot, I can help you. If you have 2 acres, I can help you. If you have, 2.5 acres, I can help you. If you have 100 acres, I can also help you, because I did spend 10 years in architecture and construction. So city planning was my next step if I would have continued in that field. But I did get into politics, which gave me an opportunity to go to a lot of city council meetings and county commission meetings where they talked about zoning and planning and city development. So, like I said, the 25 years that I've been in business for myself has put me in a lot of different spaces, in a lot of different rooms that I'm giving to you in the design of this farm. So you shouldn't need anything else. If you want to stay in America and fight the good fight, I can help you sustain yourself in America, because you're going to need to have your own farmland. The USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, has not shut down. It's still there. The grant programs, the opportunities for you to get money as a new farmer, as a woman farmer, are there. I can help you with that. If you want to leave America and you don't want to come all the way to Africa because it's too far, go to South America or the Caribbean. We have ambassadors there from the African Diaspora Collective that are also understanding of this global black supply chain, especially our ambassador in the Caribbean. Shouts out to Yassan Safari. He's an agriculturalist, also had an agricultural grow and a cannabis grow in California. He has now moved back to St. Kitts. He's currently at St. Kitts building out a farm right now as we speak. This is serious, black people. Food is going to be the new weapon. It's not going to be, it is. Agriculture as an industry, if we don't get out of the mindset of, I don't want to be back on the farm, I don't want to be a slave, then you're going to starve. You're not coming to my farm. I'm not feeding you. I'm giving you the opportunity right now to have your own self-sustaining ecosystem. These farms are not meant to feed a nation. It's only 2.5 acres. So in your 20-mile radius or 25 to 50-mile radius of your home is what these farms feed. So we need thousands, hundreds of thousands of these farms across the world for this thing to work. That's why it's Project 2040. We have 15 years to get this together. If all of us as a community rebrand or rethink the way we think about agriculture and rebrand the black farmer for the 22nd century for our children, then we can make it. We don't need everybody. Everybody doesn't need to be on the farm. That's why each of these farms is designed in a particular way. So if you're a teacher, you should get into the beginning of the first 4 farm models: elementary, middle, high school, and university models. If you're a lawyer, then you should get into the research model, or the ones that we do for government. If you are into music, then you should get into the nationalized farm, so that you can be making theme songs or jingles for the value-added products that are going to be made and have to be put on the market to sell internationally in the global black supply chain. There are so many different things that you can fit into the 1 hectare sustainable farm model with the 32 components that all fit into what we need to be doing for black economic liberation globally. It's not a new idea. I'm not a rocket scientist. I am smart, though. Don't take that from me. I am something like a genius. However, what I'm doing isn't new. There have been people that I don't even know, that I can't name, that have done these farming models before that have been successful. The problem is consistency. The problem is, a lack of understanding of how we need to continue processes in different spaces, in different places around the world. They tell you don't come to Ghana with your American attitude. They tell you when you're an African and you go to America, don't do certain things. What I'm telling you is that what I have designed and put together, you can do anywhere in any country around the world the same way. This is one thing that we can all do as a people, that I encourage each of you to go on our website and sign up. There is a download, there's a PDF document that you can download also from our website that fully explains everything that I've talked about. Today is Friday, so I was supposed to do this video at 6 p.m., but I decided to do it now, and this is what we're going to post also on our website. I will put it on YouTube as well so that you can go watch it anytime. Please share it with your network so that they can understand what the One Hectare Sustainable Farm is. Again, if you're in Liberia, we'll be there in the next 10 days for a week to nationalize the program in Liberia. We'll then go on to Guinea and possibly Senegal before the end of the year. I'll be back in Nigeria where we already completed the setup of a village farm concept there as well. Then we'll be going to East Africa to 5 different countries in February. So if you're interested in traveling from America to go to East Africa, the African Diaspora Collective has a Chamber of Commerce where we do delegation trips. This particular delegation trip in 2026, and most of them are on business and culture, but there will also be a particular focus on introducing the One Hectare Sustainable Farm to these governments in these 5 countries, which are Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and Malawi. We'll be in those 5 countries from February to March next year. Then I will jump over from Malawi to South Africa to go to the IBMA conference to talk about and present the One Hectare Sustainable Farm in South Africa. By the end of 2026, we should have covered half of the continent. I do not travel to North Africa. I'm just going to make that very clear. You'll not find me in Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, no, Libya, no, I'm not going. I have my own reasons, none of your business. I'm just not going. So my focus is on sub-Saharan Africa. I don't think people in North Africa need my help, frankly. That's just being honest. So I will leave them to do what they're doing. I'm going to do what I'm doing here in sub-Saharan Africa, which also includes Central African Republic, DRC, and Congo. There is somebody that has a farm in Congo that has signed up on our website. You can go to our website and look at our interactive map. I will also post it on my Facebook feed and the Facebook feed of the Cooperative Executive Management Team. It's interactive. We update it twice a year. I just updated it this morning so that you can see where all the farms are. When you click the icon, it will tell you from the information that these particular individuals I have never talked to, I have never met, I have never seen in person. They saw me somewhere, went on the website, signed up their farm, and they entered the information. I selectively took out their personal information for our own database so that you don't have it as an open public, but you can see exactly where their farm is according to the GPS coordinates or the county, region, or country that they put into the form. They tell you what they're growing currently on their farm, and then it also tells you, is it a private farm, is it family land, is it stool or skin land, or therefore, in layman terms, is the land owned by a traditional ruler, a chief, or however you the terminology you use in your country? Is it corporate land, government-owned land, or privately leased? Those descriptions are also on each of those icons on our farm, so that you can understand the beginnings of what I'm building. I have taken my time to carefully strategize, and if anybody knows me, knows I'm like a super pre-planning strategist, which is how I was so successful in politics in America and how I was able to move to Africa and be able to sustain myself and stay here as a single parent and a single individual. I don't have no husband that's funding me, no sugar daddy that's funding me, no governmental agency that's funding me. This is me. So when I say I had to believe that I could do this because somebody told me years and years ago that I could not do this without white people. That's what really pushed me forward to, prove her wrong. Because the one thing that you can do to get a black woman to do something is tell her she can't do it. So every time someone told me, "Wow, you can't do this. You can't go to Africa. You can't, grow cannabis in this country. You can't do this." I've done it all. And I'm telling you, this model works. Not only does it work, I went and spent my own time and money and went to other countries to make sure that it works. I'm giving it to you. If you want to be a part of this global compact and this initiative, you can sign up for the Fight for 15 Global Compact at www.tadic.world, which is also a link in this video, that just says that you're going to commit. There's nothing for you to actually, there's no meetings to go to, there's no membership fees. It's just like the UN Compact that says we as a community are agreeing to commit to following this model over the next 15 years so that we can create 50 million jobs for the youth, for our people, for the next generation. Everybody talks about Africa and the fact that we have the highest youth population in the world, and it's going to be the biggest market in, the next 20 years, the next 15 years, which is all true. But if we don't have the infrastructure set up, infrastructure meaning food sovereignty, if we don't have the infrastructure set up as a community, we will still be controlled by those that have continued to try to control us over the last 500 years. I don't need to explain what should be already understood. You people know who I'm talking about. It's serious. Not only is it serious for you people in America, it's going to get serious for you people across the diaspora. You're going to come here, the local people going to get you. I'm just going to be straight with you. The local people going to get you. And if you don't have a diaspora person, an expat, as we call ourselves, that's living in the country that knows the do's and don'ts, you're going to get got. And I don't blame them. Because if you don't do your research and then come here and really get to know the environment that you're in, then you're going to get got anywhere. It's not an African, problem or issue or, thing that just Africans do. Homeboy in Philly will do the same thing to you. You go on the wrong block, get caught slipping, and the same things can happen to you. Just remember that. Come check me out on any of our channels, and I'm here for you, Black people. Be safe.